The last question was the minimum salary in the information security world. So in the information security field. Well, again, that's kind of a broad question because it depends on where you go. One of my students in the class, they had decided to take a job and they took it on the outskirts of DC because they didn't want to deal with DC traffic. And because of that, they got a job that was a little bit less money and it was about $48,000 a year. Their job was as a junior analyst. And their company basically said, hey, we're going to hire you at $48,000 a year. In 6 months, you'll be eligible for raise for $10,000 bonus. Your salary will go up $10,000 in 6 months if you make it through the probationary period. And those students, like I said, they had an A plus, a net plus, a security plus, and a CCNA. Really, they got the job because they had security plus and their CCNA because that company was doing a lot of network monitoring and log analysis based on packet analysis and network traffic and things of that nature. So that was kind of the low end that I've seen. The other students that were getting similar jobs down inside Washington, D.C., they were getting between $60,000 and $70,000 a year to do similar roles. Both those companies offered really good packages where they would continue to pay for their certifications, give them tuition assistance to help them further and finish their degrees, and a lot of those other benefits that kind of go into it too. But from a pure dollars and cents, they were getting somewhere between 48 and 70-ish as a starting salary. And that was for somebody, these students came to us with zero experience, and we're trying to move those people into the cybersecurity workforce. It was a really great program, and that was through our community college here locally. And there was several of them across the state of Maryland because these employers here are like, we need more people. We need qualified applicants. Help us. And so we developed this program where we kind of gave them the skills and gave them very hands-on, not just boot camp style classes, so that they could actually go in and do this job. And these companies were willing to accept some risk because this guy doesn't have any real formal experience. He just has this 1 year of college and these certifications. And there's a couple of those programs out there across the world and across the United States, depending on where you are. So that's another way to get into the InfoSec field. So that's the minimum side. Now, maximum side. What is the maximum salary on the cybersecurity side or on the information security side? It's hard to say because once you start getting into the maximum side, you start getting into stuff that is not quite fully tangible, like stock options. Because if you start talking that you're the CSO, the cybersecurity officer, the chief security officer, or the CTO, the chief technology officer, or the CIO, the chief information officer, you start going into the $500,000, $1 million and more range, plus stock options, again, depending on the size of the company. I have several friends who quit doing what I do, and they have gone into that field, and they are making very, very good money right now doing cybersecurity. I have one friend who's leading up an incident response team for a major corporation, and every time he works from home, and when they have an incident, he gets on a plane, he flies out, and he fixes their problems all across the country. And he's making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year to do that. I have another friend who has recently gotten a job offer to go work as a chief security officer at one of the major companies. And he's got 20 years of experience doing cyber and incident response, and he's now making several $100,000 a year for doing it. So yes, there is tremendous upside. Are you going to be there day one? No. The reason I get those job offers now is because I've been doing this for 20 years, right? And so they look and they go, oh, this guy's got a master's degree in this, he's got these certifications, and he's got 20 years experience. Yeah, that's the kind of guy we want. And not just that he's got 20 years experience of running networks, but he's also been doing incident response, and he's been doing, he's gone from analyst to incident response and running large teams and large organizations. I've done large IT service management stuff too. One of the places I did was over 5,000 users across 4 countries. And we ran networks there keeping 99% uptime. And so that becomes a very valuable skill set as well if you stay in the information technology side and not the information security side. So it really depends on what you like and what you want to do as you go through this career field. It really is up to you how far you want to take it. Personally, I love working with students and interacting. It's one of the reasons why I do what I do as a part-time adjunct professor at a couple of colleges, because I like working with people at the beginning and helping them get up to where they want to go. Now, those several $100,000 a year jobs, they're stressful, right? You're not working a standard 9 to 5 there. You're working whatever time people call you at 3 in the morning when a Russian hacker or a Chinese hacker or whatever hacker around the world breaks into a network, right? That's the kind of stuff that you got to deal with, right? You guys have seen in the news, WannaCry, ransomware. There's a lot of guys who are getting calls at 2, 3, 4 in the morning when some server in some server farm in, I don't know, Idaho, and they might have an office in Miami, but their server farms in Idaho uh, got attacked. And now they've got to go and fly out there and get a team together and start fixing it and getting the company back up. It's a high stress job. It's a high stakes job. But because of that and the skill set required, they make a lot of money at it. And you can get there, and it doesn't necessarily take 20 or 25 years to get there either. I know guys who have 5 to 10 years experience and they're making several $100,000 a year because they're that good and they're that worth it, right? It goes back to the question earlier that Vicky had, certifications or knowledge. Well, those guys are getting paid for knowledge because they are knowledgeable and talented guys and they have a reputation, and that's why people are paying for it, because they want that type of skill set.